All right. Welcome to the Faith in Action Forum. This is our first annual Faith in Action report. Yes, this will probably be an annual tradition, but this is this year's annual. We say probably. Nothing is for sure in this world. Yeah. So I'm Reverend Sara Lewis. I use she, her pronouns. I am the Director of Community and Faith Development, which includes being the staff support and responsible staff party for our Faith in Action ministries. And let us begin as Unitarian Universalists gathered together by lighting a chalice. And our chalice lighting words are by Pat Urby Lechty. We light our chalice today knowing that our hope and our passion are needed to change the world. We bring different gifts to the work, but we come together in one faith that what we do makes a difference, both to our world and to ourselves. So thank you. We have many representatives here today from different Faith in Action teams. So I am not going to have all the answers to everything, and that is fine. And as you have questions, we will find the person who has the answer. So do please feel free to ask questions as we go. And some of those people who have the answers, I think, are still out at tables talking to people out there. But we will do the answer that we can if that person is out of the room at the moment. So this is the 2023-2024 church year report. We organize most of our programming at OUUC basically on the school year. So we're primarily talking about what we've done since September. And let's see if my clicky works. I don't know if I did that or you did it. Okay. So a few years back, we had a visioning meeting. It was during COVID, so it was all on Zoom. And we talked about what Faith in Action at OUUC has been historically, what it could be, what we're called to do right now. And in the course of that, we arrived at 3 focus areas. And these are focus areas that came out of interest, so they're not set in stone. We did not receive them on a tablet, and they must be the focus areas for all time. As most things, it's part of a living tradition, and we can change with time. But for now, our 3 focus areas are environmental justice, environmental action, economic justice, and anti-racism, which has also includes anti-oppression, so other intersectional oppressions. All right, one click. And we have a variety of methods that we are utilizing. So the primary methods for Faith in Action at OUUC are education, and there we have overlap with other programs like Faith Development. And the children's program, the youth program, definitely there's other programs that are doing education about justice issues. And we try to work cooperatively with them. Fundraising and sharing our resources is a major way that we do Faith in Action. Advocacy and activism in all of its many forms, and we'll talk more about what that can look like. And direct service. Which, again, takes many forms. So this year we had 3 teams primarily serving these focus areas. The Environmental Action Team, EAT, is a large volunteer-led team that meets on the first Tuesday of each month here and enjoys a potluck dinner together, as shown here in the picture. They do welcome new members, and so if folks are interested in joining the team. And much of the work of the Environmental Action Team this year, They continue the monthly bulbs and batteries recycling program. Big shout out, thank you to Joe, who's helping us make sure we recycle those things. Many education events, including monthly forums, but other events as well, both here at OUC and in the larger community. Advocacy, and community partnerships with Green Faith and others. And just a quick plug, today you could join members of the Environmental Action Team at Decatur Park, 1 o'clock for an Earth Day event. So right after this, in fact, just go straight there. Yeah. Our economic justice team meets currently on Zoom on the fourth Monday of the month and would welcome new members. If you're called to economic justice work, please consider joining the team. We have partnerships with other organizations for advocacy, such as Results, the Poor People's Campaign, Faith Action Network, and of course, Interfaith Works. And direct service and fundraising partnerships. So Joanne has so ably helped us have partnership with Interfaith Works. And we have our historical and long-standing partnership with Quixote Communities, formerly Panza, the Community Kitchen, the Food Bank, and the Hunger Walk program are other community partnerships that we're active with. Our anti-racism team meets on the third Tuesday of the month on Zoom and welcomes new members. You might hear a recurring theme here. In other words, if you have a call to any Faith in Action team, they welcome you. You don't have to fill out an application form or something. This is a all come, you are welcome ministry. So this year, the anti-racism team organized an educational movie event here with the Since I've Been Down film and had the director join us. That was a wonderful event. They've done advocacy work with the Washington Coalition for Police Accountability and the Faith Action Network, and have helped the congregation support financially our Unitarian Universalist anti-racist partners, which are Black Lives of Unitarian Universalists, otherwise known as BLUE, and the Diverse Revolutionary UU Multicultural Ministries, otherwise known as DRUM. And coming up shortly, the congregation has sponsored the public worship for DRUM. They do an annual public worship via Zoom, and we'll have a watch party here for folks who'd like to watch that together and be part of our nationwide anti-racist leadership within Unitarian Universalism. So education, as I said, crosses over with other ministry areas. Definitely faith development and faith in action cooperate in the education around justice issues. So this year, Reverend Mary has led the Social Justice Book Club, which, shout out, that is a big group of people. It's a fabulous group who have been meeting once a month to engage deeply with a book for each of the justice focus areas. So that was a really wonderful educational offering this year. We have the Children's Equity Library, which Joanne Young organizes, and if you didn't have a chance to check it out, the collection of books is beautiful, and you really should see these wonderful books. Whether you are actively parenting children right now or not, some of the justice picture books and other resources that have come out, particularly in recent years, are just gorgeous for adults even.
Also books for parents.
And books for parents, yes. Thank you, Joanne, yes. Resources for parents and other adults as well. We have had a monthly Faith in Action forum this year. This is the first year that we just went ahead and said, okay, second Sunday of each month is a Faith in Action forum. And those forums have been well attended, and we've had a variety of guest speakers and educational events come in once a month to do congregation-wide education on a justice issue. And then other communications, we reach out with educational resources through announcements, through newsletter articles, in many other ways. So those Faith in Action forums, and this was the first year for these, we started off in October with a guest speaker from OUUC Ecosystems. Then we had, in November, we had the policy director? Well, anyway, we had a wonderful guest speaker whose title at this point eludes me, from the Faith Action Network, who came to talk to us about the upcoming legislative cycle and the work of Faith Action Network and how we could get involved. We had the president of the board from Justice Washington join us for a forum and talk about what Justice Washington is doing and how we can support that work and be involved, and how Justice Washington can help other congregations connect with the work we're doing. Justice Washington has been really great about sort of announcing at large to the whole state opportunities at congregations that are open to other people to join. And this is one of the really great things about the Zoom classes and Zoom events, is that people who are on the other side of the state can join us for our events. And Justice Washington has been publicizing our events and also publicizes other congregations' events. So if you get on the Justice Washington email list, you'll find out more too. Then in January, we had speakers about divestment from fossil fuels. Thank you to the EAT for organizing that. And in February, we had that film screening, Since I've Been Down, which was organized by the anti-racism team. In March, we had a wonderful trans welcome and inclusion forum from our own Isaac Jennings. And in April, we had a speaker from the estuarium. Yeah. And then in May, we probably won't have one because it turns out that the second Sunday of May is Mother's Day. And the thought is that it's just probably not going to be highly attended if we did do something up against Mother's Day. So another big part of what we do is sharing our resources and fundraising. And this year, we had wonderful Share the Plate partners chosen. The Share the Plate team does a fabulous job of putting out an application process and receiving applications from other community organizations that would like to receive approximately half of our donations on Sunday services. It's not the full, because we also have the little blue part is for the Minister's Benevolence Fund as well. But the Share the Plate team receives all of these applications, goes over them with great care and integrity to see how they match our justice focus areas, and to choose organizations to receive funding from our donations on Sundays. So in 2023, those were the Community Kitchen, the Hope Garden Project, the Arrest and Jail Alternatives Program, the Hockey Farmers Collective, the Black Power Pathways, and Olympia Solar. And in 2024, the Thurston County Medical Equipment Bank, and the Hawk Foundation for Research and Education. That's the one that we're currently collecting for. Going on through the rest of the year, we'll have the Crisis Clinic, South Sound Reading Foundation, All Kids Win, and the Collaborative Association for Reintegration and Education. So something to just notice is the diversity of recipients is in alignment with our focus areas and our values. We've chosen people organizations that further the work in the community. And so big thank you to the Share the Plate team. And of course to everyone who donates every Sunday. Another really big way that we share our resources is through the book sale. Books, Beans, and Brownies was a highly successful effort this year. There was both a summer online sale in the summer of '23 and the fall in-person sale. And the organizations that received the funds raised, all of the funds raised after costs for the sales themselves were split, and they went to Interfaith Works, OUUC Ecosystems, and the Osho Cultural Community Center. So we chose recipients for each of our 3 focus areas, and raised, they each got more than $6,000 for the year. Yeah. And then we have organizations that are in our annual budget for benevolences because they are partners of ours. And so keeping them in our budget line item is part of how we continue to remember our partnership with them. So we have the Quixote Communities, Interfaith Works, Faith Action Network, and Justice Washington receive benevolences from our annual budget as part of our work with them. We also did a whole bunch of other fundraisers and supply drives. So the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee has their annual Guest at Your Table program, and we collected funds for their work this year. We did a gift card collection for the students at LP Brown Elementary, which is our neighborhood elementary school, and I dropped off more than $1,500 in gift cards to them for the holiday season. The counselor there distributed those to their families in need. We did a warm items collection that was organized by Diana Finch to be passed out to folks during the winter holidays from the community kitchen. So hats, gloves, scarves, hand warmers, etc. Diana collected bags and bags. The things kept coming, so many wonderful warm items. Upcoming will be part of this year's Hunger Walk. And last year, this congregation donated more than $2,500 to Hunger Walk for our team of walkers, and in the spirit of walking, because Hunger Walk allows all forms of participation. And then at the auction each year, we do a Raise the Paddle recipient. This year, upcoming Raise the Paddle will be for Gaza relief. And the Minister's Benevolence Fund is a fund that allows Reverend Mary to help individuals who approach needing a variety of different needs. And that includes all sorts of people from the community, as well as OUUC members, and meeting a variety of different needs that could be met through money, because that's the method that we have here for this fund. And then advocacy. So we had our partnerships with Justice Washington, Faith Action Network, and more, and they bring us so much wonderful research and alerts, action calls. We've got wonderful dedicated members who stay really on top of the communication from different organizations. So one thing that somebody told me this year was, oh, it seems like you must be reading every newsletter there is because you're bringing us all of these alerts on the Faith in Action alert list. No, not all of them. People in the congregation who really care about something, they follow these issues. Sometimes they don't post it directly themselves. They send it to me and say, hey, post this. So it may look like I'm reading every newsletter in the world, but no, it's because the congregation, each of us, if you care passionately about something, you can follow it and then share that information with others. That is a really good way to crowdsource our attention span. We have as I mentioned, the Faith in Action alert list is an email list through Realm that you can join. So this is an opt-in on getting extra communication about Faith in Action things you can do. So it's sign this petition, write to your congressperson about this, show up at this march. It's that kind of stuff that you would see through the Faith in Action alert list. And a lot of it is really timely because things happen faster than the weekly announcements will always allow.
Are you pulling?
Don't worry.
Are you pulling from Justice Washington for that? Okay.
Yes, and thank you. I will bring a microphone for questions so our folks online can hear. And I'll go back to this one now. Yes, so Justice Washington is definitely a source for that. Faith Action Network also, they're really thorough with their legislative calls and their weekly email during legislative session. And then there's all sorts of others that come across from other sources. Yeah. We also had an experiment this year with action hours, and some folks have done action hours with other organizations. Some folks here at OUC, this was the first time we ever participated in something like an action hour. But the idea of an action hour is that it's a time to come together and do all of those simple little actions like sign this petition, write this letter, fill out this postcard together. And so we did that on Thursdays after our community dinner during the January and February legislative session. We had a few learnings about Thursday and how it lines up with the legislative week. Thursday's not the best day. On the other hand, doing things together when you also had dinner together is a good thing to do. So we'll see where that goes next time we do action hours. But overall, they were really a wonderful opportunity for people to be together chatting about, oh, what do you think about this one? Do you know anything about that? All right.
This is a follow-up to that. I think action hours are a great idea. But so for the legislative session, what is the best day of the week?
So if we were doing it for the legislative session Monday, because the information about the week comes out in this is what's happening this Monday to this Friday, and it comes out on Friday or so. So we would be ready on Monday to do things. Yeah. So we could maybe do a Sunday after service. Yeah. So when we come to the fall legislative session, we'll be playing with this. We'll think again about the action hours. And if you would like to help host action hours and be an organizer of action hours, please talk to me, because that would be great. So then we also responded to, I'm just going to stay here with this. Now that I've got it in my head. We also participated in several other advocacy events this year, including the Poor People's March in town. And that's another way that we just show up for our values, is when there are events. To be there as a group is great. We were not the only UUs there. We saw others and found them. And that's the other cool thing about being here in Olympia. You can respond to some of these marches and events, and we'll find the Bellingham UUs, and we'll find the Bellevue UUs, and they'll find us. So. And then the direct service. This year, we have provided twice monthly donations to the Kids Backpacks program at the food bank. That's a program that sends food that's, kid appealing. What's that, Joanne? No cooking, yeah. Kid appealing and what kids can handle, so they don't have to cook it, they don't have to have stove or whatever. Sends that home with kids. Then the twice monthly dinners at the Unity Commons and a once a month dinner at Hope Village. And all of this is organized by Joanne Young, so just big thank you to you, Joanne. And well supported by others, and this is another way that you can get involved. Joanne has, I'm just gonna bring it directly to you.
The backpack foods are called shelf-stable, which means they can eat it cold or not have to cook it.
And Joanne, you do need more help, right?
In summer, our numbers go down because we all go away and travel, and so I can always use a few extra people in the summertime particularly at the shelter, the big shelter. Unity Commons.
Yes. So it's always in the announcements that they're coming up, and it says if you can contribute a dish, reach out to Joanne. It's a very easy way to jump in. It's not like you're committing to doing it every month either. But you can do it every month. That's right. You can. So here's a few ways that you can join Faith in Action right now. Join that Blue Apron team, helping Joanne get those dinners out. So contact Joanne Young if you're interested in how to do that and what that looks like. Join any of our Faith in Action teams. They are all happy to have your contributions. And if you're not I like to attend meetings every month person, that's okay too. Reach out to the team and tell them that. I'm not really big on meetings, but I would still love to help you with your work or to be a part of this, and how could that look? The Hunger Walk is coming up. That's been in the announcements, and you can donate or walk and raise donations. We would love to contribute even more than we did last year to Hunger Walk, and all of those funds go to the community kitchen and the food bank. And then May is the Bicycle Commuter Challenge, and you can join the OUUC cyclists and log your miles and encourage other climate and environmental care actions in your life and in others' lives. And then sign up for the Faith in Action alert list on Realm. And right now, it's not super noisy on that alert list, but be aware during the legislative session, it can get noisier. You don't have to do everything that comes across the alert list, but do what you can and what calls to you. And before we look at next year questions, I'll just pause here and see if we have questions about what we've done this last year, or observations in general, whatever you raised your hand for.
Actually, it was a question about next year. So do I need to wait? No. So I've been approached by a potential new partner, Grub, and they would like to be more involved with us and us with them. They donate 80% of their food to the food bank. I didn't realize it was 80%. And they also now are working with their youth program is now including people with DVR needs, so it hits a lot of our goals. And so I will be meeting with their board president next week from Tuesday. And so my question is, who do I bring the proposal to? And I would be willing, maybe I could work that.
So that's a really great question, and thank you, because that gives me an opportunity to talk about our structure. So the Faith in Action ministries are structured where we have the teams that are looking at the focus areas, and then we have a Faith in Action leadership team that has representatives from each team and liaisons that are working with community partners. So there's a couple ways that yours could work. You could, if you were yourself going to take on being the liaison and working with this partner, you could bring that proposal to the Faith in Action leadership team and say, would we as a leadership team want this to be a partnership, and I would be at your leadership team meetings to share on what our partner organization is doing and how we could be connected with them. The other way would be to identify which team you think is most closely in alignment with this partner organization and see if the team would want to partner with them. So for GRUB, perhaps economic justice might want to partner with them. And so then you would be bringing your proposal to that team that you want. So really, a lot of this is about buy-in, right? And it's about where is the work going to sit? So if we're not going to give commands to the Faith in Action teams saying you must get this work done, we need to have that team say, yes, we want to work on that. Or if there's something that an individual OUC member would like to partner with, you can bring that to the leadership team to see if it's in alignment with the Faith in Action goals for the year. Yeah. Anything else? Yes.
Yeah, I didn't see learning right relations up there at all.
Great question. So Learning Right Relations is an affiliate organization. It's not a team of OUUC. It is like they exist in the larger community as their own entity. They actually have their own legal status. They're a separate organization. So our relationship with Learning Right Relations is that we officially do affiliate with them. And this is one of those times where the liaison does come to the Faith in Action leadership team meetings. So we have a liaison, that's currently Karen Jackson, who makes sure that we are coordinated with Learning Right Relations, but they're a separate organization. And Holly's question, I couldn't find the different Faith in Action groups meeting times on the OUC website. Where would I find these? That is a great question, and the website continues to be an update process that we're working on. And I think what you are pointing out from your observation is that we don't have all the meetings that happen on Zoom on the calendar. That is actually a project that the staff have already started working on to try to get all the Zoom meetings onto the calendar, because for a long time it was only things that were happening physically in the building. The calendar going forward, we hope to include events that happen off-site and events that happen on Zoom, always on the calendar as well. So in the future, you should be able to find all of those team meetings on the calendar. And then in the future, you should also be able to find reference to the teams on the Faith in Action section of the website. Anything else? Yes.
So as I understand Realm, you can become a member of one of these teams if someone who has permissions gives them permission to be on the team. So how do people know who to ask to get permission to join the team and get the information?
Yes. So part of the answer here is that there's two ways to be on a team. There's being on the Realm group for the team, and there's attending the team meetings. And we do encourage teams to use Realm for their communications and for members to be on Realm. And every team does have a Realm group for sending their messages, sharing files, etc. The leaders of the teams are the person in the Realm group who have the ability to add new members. And there's variation in tech savvy or how much they're monitoring their realm groups. So if anyone is having trouble getting into the realm group for the team that they want to be part of, you can always reach out to me to get you into that realm group. Otherwise, it is the chair or the leader of the team who is listed as leader on the realm group as well. And they do have the ability in realm to add new members. And when you look at the group on realm, it should say leader is so-and-so. Yeah. Anything else? All right. We can always go back, but let's also look forward. Yes. So next year, these are some questions that we would just love to reflect on. And, you know, nothing is planned firmly yet, so this is a chance for some feedback. This is also all going to be captured and sent on to the teams. So the first question is, what calls to your heart when you think about faith in action? Where do you feel drawn to put your faith into action next? And I will just give one little caution as we answer these questions. We really want to know what is calling you to action, not what action you'd like to see somebody else take. Okay? What is calling you to action? What are the calls of the world as they are right now that you are feeling in your heart? And just think about that for a moment, and if you have an answer, wave your hand for the mic or put it in the chat or wave your hand if you'd like to speak from Zoom. All right, Tim and then Frank.
Well, with the risk of volunteering for something, I am excited about the idea of Grub's partnership and wanting to actually expand that to the whole gamut of food equity and growing for the purpose of assistance to the rest of the world.
I'm on the environmental action team, and we have started studying the feasibility of getting less dependent on carbon for our electricity. And the subject of solar panels has come up, and we're actively working on that. We'd like some support and feedback. We're going to be surveying the congregation and trying to move forward with this.
Well, obviously, when I brought up the question earlier, I'm very interested in partnering with Grub, and that's cool. You'll get a phone call. But not only, the thing that excites me most about this potential partnership is that not only are they very involved with food equity and food access and youth learning, but they're also, in the last 3 years, really been working on equity and inclusion issues and have gotten much more savvy about how to involve people of color. And so that is a learning that I think we can enjoy learning from them. And so that's what I'm hoping we can do.
Mine aren't quite as noble, but I guess I'm interested in helping the church where I've got some experience, and that's primarily financial and maybe energy efficiency and the solar panels. So all those things together.
I'd really like to get the Warm Windows program moving again. It kind of, because of the pandemic, we couldn't have people in the building. There were different drawbacks to that, and so I'm hoping that this fall to get some folks trained in how to make warm windows, and then get a better way of getting the word out, how we can help people save energy by keeping the heat within their house.
And Joe, I'll say every month when we look at the financial reports for the congregation, there's a warm windows reserve, and somebody will say, what can we do with that? It's like, it sits with Joe, it's waiting for you.
Mine is more of a process orientation rather than a project, and it isn't something I can do myself. But a couple of times things have come up about how information isn't available. Joe had a really good example. Holly had one in chat. And just us noticing where there are breakdowns in communicating what's going on, where somebody might really be able to and want to jump in, but they don't know the entree. They don't either know how to get onto Realm, or they don't know how to use the Google Docs, or the website just doesn't support their access. And I think knowing a person, putting a name to things, and I know there are privacy issues and you can't always be publishing people's phone numbers or their email addresses, but just having at least a name so that folks can hook into something real.
So if I might add, we have a congregant, Claudia McNeil, who asked how she might be of service in helping people get connected, and her goal is to work through all of the groups in Realm and make sure that they're current, that they have the right people, and that there's a leader and such. And so if you're interested in that particular thing, I'm pretty sure Claudia might want a partner or two to help her with that. It's a thing. The other thing I'll share is that right now Rosie is working on a project to change over to Google Calendars and to upgrade the calendar so that it's got everything on it. And I authorized some extra hours for Rosie to get that done this month.
Yeah. These are all wonderful, wonderful things that we're hearing, and I just want to let you know I am going to capture all of these and share them as notes with all of the Faith in Action teams. So we're not just dropping these into the air and leaving them there. Yeah. Anybody online? Nope. Okay. So also we could add this second question into the mix here. What would you be excited to see at OUUC for Faith in Action next year? And again, we're most interested in what you'd be excited to see and be part of, and you think there's energy for, and not assignments to others. But what would you be excited if you imagine next year, and in your imagination, you're here, OUC is doing really great Faith in Action things that just get you all stirred up and you want to be a part of it and you want to share it with others. What does that look like in your imagination?
Yeah, I'm interested in that upcoming, what is it? It's the Joanna Macy program that's going to be a day. We might really need something like that come fall here, where we meet regularly to talk about, how to stick to these things in hard times. We might need it anyway, as a support for everybody that's doing the work.
Thank you, Tammy. What else? All right, over here to Connie.
Well, I'm only saying this because there was so much quiet. I was intrigued at today as we were setting up the tables for the different groups. Reverend Sara suggested that we put the cookies and goodies on each of the tables, and so it would really, really, I think, help if we could have refreshments beverages and our goodies at the same place we had the forums.
Ah, interesting idea. We'll have to think about that one.
And in keeping with that, I noticed that it got pretty crowded back there, and people couldn't get around to the tables very well. It might be nice for each week a different faith action group had a table out. I know we do with EAT. We do the first Sunday, and we try to get more things out than just bulbs and battery collection. So if the other groups were out, also to let people, to be visible to the congregation what's going on.
Yeah, those are great ideas. So I think that kind of segues into the spirit of my third question. How would you like to be participating? So what are the methods? What are the tools? How do we do this faith in action? Is it education events? Is it online? Is it in person? Is it during coffee hour conversations? What are the methods, and how would we like to be doing this?
Well, being a social person, I like the in-person. Doesn't always work for everybody. One of the things that excites me about a potential partnership with Grub is will be inviting us to come to their farm, which is only a half block away, or a block, and then they would be coming here. But I also think that being involved with Grub would lead us to a lot of other resources about not only food equity, but the whole issue of inclusion. So,
Great. And coming to you there, Beth.
You know, I think that involvement would really involve all of the above that you mentioned, because that's what everything needs that we do, and that is visibility. And how do we do that socially? Announcements, the Spark, newsletters, everything that we have in order to do that. So that's my thought.
Thank you, Beth. Anyone else? Well, I invite you to continue these reflections of, and it's an ongoing process. What in the world is calling to your heart? Where are you feeling that tug? And how, as this community where we're all feeling the tug in our heart to different things, how do we come together around doing those things as a community? We can accomplish much more together than we could alone. And what are the many, many possible methods? Because just because we used to do it one way doesn't mean that's the best way or the only way. And the world keeps changing. So how do we continue to find the right tools, the right methods, the right processes for the moment that we're in? And please continue to think those thoughts, and you feel free to reach out to me or to members of any of the teams. And we're heavy right now on folks in the room who are in fact part of these teams. So I would invite, if you are part of the environmental action team and you want to wave your hand in the air, yep, there's our environmental action team. If you're part of the economic justice team and you'd like to wave your hand in the air, if you're part of the anti-racism team and you'd like to wave your hand in the air. And here's another one. If you've done anything this year to put your faith into action, please wave your hands in the air. Oh, look, we all, yay. We're all part of this. We really are. So we'll capture all the learnings from this and be talking about them in our action teams. And if you have further thoughts, please do send them my way, and I'll pass them on to the action teams as well. All right? Okay. I'll extinguish our chalice too. Holly has a hand up online. Yes, please.
I just put my hand up that I did something.
Yes, that you did something. Yes, thank you. Participating online. Yay! I extinguish our chalice. May we continue to hold this flame of our faith in our hearts until we meet again.